Do you guys remember like the first time like talking to a stranger on the internet?
People would friend request and people would message me thinking I was my dad, who, if anyone doesn't know, is a pastor, shares the same name as me. And so there was one day I'm just like hanging out on the computer, I'm watching YouTube videos, I got Facebook on another window, I hear the little messenger, and it's this guy who I barely know, may as well have been a stranger. Mike, you gotta help me. My marriage is falling apart. I think my wife is cheating on me. And I'm pretty sure she turned out to be cheating on him. I was just like, I think you're looking for my father. And I swear to you, I have ran into that guy in the wild as an adult more than any other human on the planet.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. It is April 1st, so happy April Fool's Day to you. Make sure you don't believe anything you read or hear on the internet, including from us. But in case you don't like April Fools, it is also Boomer Bonus Day, whatever that means, and National Sourdough Day. So if you like your sourdough bread, now's your day to enjoy it. Either of you guys ever made your own sourdough?
My wife makes sourdough. She actually makes a loaf right now.
Ooh.
I am a pretty good cook. I am a terrible baker.
Me too.
Yeah, my version of baking is just put the ingredients in the bread maker, hit start.
Right.
But hey, we're saving money on not buying, loaves of bread every couple weeks, so would recommend it for anyone looking to save a few dollars here and there.
Money man Rob.
Money man Rob. Once again, thank you for listening to the Top Podcast. I'm your host, Rob, and join with me are my hosts, Lou.
What's up, guys?
And Mike. Each week, like to start off the podcast with an icebreaker. Feel free to ask us on any of our socials, comment on the YouTubes, or we have a new Discord that we'll talk about later. You can join and ask us there. And we do this little thing. We're going to keep track of different points you can get, and at the end of the year, we'll have a top topper, which we call our fans, and they'll win some type of reward. But Lou, you have the icebreaker question for this week.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. My icebreaker was, what was your first teacher's crush? But I forgot that somebody was homeschooled. So
It didn't come till high school. What can I say? But Miss Mazaris was fine, let me tell you.
So, what did you want to be when you grew up? What was like the wildest thing you wanted to be when you grew up?
Happy.
Oh my god. I want to grow up having a dad.
Oh, I knew that was impossible, so.
I think for me, thinking now, I wanted to be a fireman, like a firefighter. Now looking at it, that's absolutely crazy. I would get immediately lost. I need to have Google Maps to get anywhere I need to go. And could you imagine being in a house in smoke? I would be like in the bathroom all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be completely lost. So yeah, I don't think that would have been good for me.
I love the idea of me being trapped in a fire, feeling like, Lucian, where are you? And he's like, I'm sorry, I'm at the wrong apartment.
Trapped in the bathroom, we can't get out.
For anyone who doesn't know, first time Lucian came over to my apartment, he got the right number but the wrong building and just showed up, and some other guy was like, yeah, and just answered the door.
He was in I don't know if he was in a wife beater. In my head, in my story, he was in a wife beater, but I know he had underwear with hearts on it, white underwear with hearts on it, and I thought it was about to go down. I was like trying to escape as soon as possible, and then like he was so kind too. He was like, "Oh, who are you looking for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm looking for Mike." He was like, "Oh, I don't know a Mike." I was like, "Are you gonna kill me? I'm a little nervous right now."
I want to wear your skin.
Yeah, beware of all people who live in my building. It's just a pretty solid rule of thumb, honestly.
Including Mike.
Well,
I'm dangerous, man.
your neighbor has just a stick outside her door. It's decorated.
Dude, we don't need to talk about that neighbor.
Does she know?
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say even Rob, Rob hasn't been in the state in like a year, and he knows about that neighbor. Well, unhinged would be putting it kindly.
To be fair, you've lived there for how many years now?
That's fair. You were
like
you were
6
around.
or 7. I feel like you've been there a long time.
Yeah, I've been here a minute. It's the longest I've been anywhere that wasn't my parents' home.
It was pretty boring, but I always wanted to be an astronaut. Who didn't want to go to space? That was mine, and I don't have the brains or the physical body needed to do either of those. So maybe one day I can study hard and hit the gym more.
You guys ever seen that movie where I think Bruce Willis is in it, where they're drillers, and for some reason a bunch of drillers needed to go in space,
like oil drillers?
And so
No.
I think so.
Hey,
some type
Sounds
of.
right up Rob's
if
alley.
you need
Yeah,
if you need
and
to
they
mine
needed,
moon rocks, I'm your guy.
but instead of just teaching astronauts how to drill, they taught drillers how to be astronauts, which I think is way.
The wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a lot easier to teach an astronaut how to be a roughneck than teach a roughneck how to be an astronaut.
So
Well, Mike, what
Apparently
did you
not.
want to be when you were a kid?
Okay, I couldn't remember if I said it or if I just thought it. So I was kind of waiting. I wanted to be a rock star, man. I started playing guitar in eighth grade, I think, and just couldn't get enough of it. Yeah, I had big dreams of playing on stage and people singing my songs. Never really happened, but it was a lot of fun while I was chasing it.
Well, at least your dream was more realized than either of ours, because you at least you played in the band and you were on some stage.
That's true.
burnt myself multiple times. So I don't know.
That's not actually funny. I shouldn't be laughing at it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But have you saved anyone from being burnt?
No, I say myself from not getting burnt. Does that count?
No, I don't think so.
Don't touch the stove.
If I told myself not to commit a crime, I'm not a policeman. Lou, what are we actually talking about this week?
Top 5 things that meant the world to you in middle school.
Now, we have the three aspects of school where Mike was homeschooled, Lucian was public schooled, and I was private schooled for most of my, not primary, but non-college education. Lou, was your middle school 6th through 8th grade?
So yeah, my middle school was 6th to 8th grade, but I did my 6th grade in one school, and I did 7th grade in another school, and I did 8th grade in a different school.
Dang.
So
Yeah.
it was all spread out.
Yeah, because I feel like that change happened like our age was when they started to include 6th grade. For me, it was just 7th and 8th grade. That was middle school. Mike, I don't know what your homeschool structure
really?
was. Yeah.
We just kind of went by what
Yours was
the
just
public
school.
school structure was. Although we probably also based it on church a little bit. Like I probably considered myself in middle school when I was in middle school, when I started going to like the middle school programming. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
The church you came
You're
from
good, go.
had like a huge. Was it like middle school? But they just had like, what was it, like 5th through 12th grade? Like, that was wild how big that was.
Oh, so that was such a bad choice. I would love to get some of the decision makers on that in a room and tell them what a stupid decision that was.
What was the decision? I'm sorry.
So when I was in middle school, the programming was called Core and
I do remember core.
Edge, I believe was the older one. And so Core was just middle school, so 6 through 8, and then Edge was 9 through 12. And we were part of, I don't remember if we were, I feel like I was never a part of Edge. Like I think they changed it to 621, which is what I'm sure both of you guys remember that name. I think they changed the structure partway through to be, so like I don't think it started off like everybody being in one giant group together. They brought that in later. And it was the worst. I'll come back to that actually. It'll
All right.
fit in nicely from a thematic standpoint in an hour or so.
Yeah, because I didn't go to your youth group until senior year. I only went a handful of times. But I thought it was wild. There's like 5th graders running around with, during the high school time and all that, because it was all just one big conglomerate.
Yeah. I did not care for it. I was not, that was the point where I was just like, I hate youth group and I want nothing to do with it.
Well, Lou, why don't you kick us off with your number 5?
All right. Yeah. So I was gonna get into it, but so yeah,
He was
I
gonna
already
say
said it.
he was gonna say youth group for his number 1, and then Mike's just like, yeah, F that place.
No, so
Just 'cause
I
I
didn't.
didn't like it doesn't mean he can't.
Exactly. Yes. No, I didn't get into youth group until honestly my 10th grade year. In 9th grade, I was going to church, but everybody thought I was an adult, and so I never got invited to anything. So yeah, I didn't really get the chance to go to youth group. So middle school was a very mixed bag for me. So 6th and 7th grade, some of the worst years of my life. The bullying was absolutely relentless. So pre-workout, pre-football Lucian, still had the same, didn't like conflict. I went to Detroit public schools. I didn't fit in with anybody. I was very shy. And so I think that kind of introduced a lot of bullying in my life. And then I got the chance to play football 7th grade, and I got good at it in 8th grade. And then my confidence changed. I got bigger. I got stronger. That helped a lot. And I started having friends, and then I started talking to girls, but we're not talking about girls today. I know, we're not talking to girls today. So I'm gonna say the saddest one for my number 5 is that 6th and 7th grade I got bullied relentlessly, and so I cared not to get. I worked very hard to make sure that I wasn't getting bullied, and
Oof.
that was just the biggest thing for me. Things that I would do. So sixth grade was hard. Was the hardest because I was sharing lockers with my bully,
Ooh.
and so there was
Oh, jeez.
literally nothing I could have
There's
done.
no HR you can call or anything, you know. Oh, that one's rough.
Yeah.
They just make it worse, man.
Yeah. And I would try, once school got out, I would either try to be faster than him to get to my locker, or I would be slower than him so that he could get his stuff and I would leave. But I think he just purposely timed it so that we'd get our stuff at the same time, or he would wait. And he was playing football in sixth grade, and he never washed his jersey. And so
Ooh.
Animal.
my stuff would smell like jock straps, my book bag and my coat. It was so bad, and it was just so weird to come home and smell like your bully. Like it was.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
Oh.
no, that's like a high. I mean, I don't. Bullying's not good, but like that's one way to mess with someone just for that. Like that's a high level IQ
Yeah.
play. Just it's like a dog marking their territory. It's like you smell like me now.
Yeah, yeah. It was absolutely rough. Absolutely rough. I'm not going to get too much into it. I don't promote bullying, and if you're listening to this and you are. Wait, can our kids listen to our podcast?
No, for the most part, it's 20 to 30 is our main age
Sure.
range.
Yeah. Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know if you guys got bullied, but I know there's a ton of people have gotten bullied in life. And so I hope that this is ringing true to some people. And I hope that you're doing better. The worst I've ever gotten bullied, I remember, is that I had to run the mile. And I was a very big kid back in the day, and I did not run ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I avoided running the mile for the longest time, and then it was the last day, and I thought I avoided it. And then my gym teacher was like, "No, you have to run it." And it took me all the hour to run the mile, and I was
Oh.
slower than everybody. So it was literally just me running in front of my whole group around the gym while like kids were laughing at me the whole time.
Oh.
That's the worst.
It was the worst. And my coach, and I tried to quit a couple times, and the gym teacher was like, "No, you cannot quit. You have to run in front of everybody the whole time."
What a dick.
All right, Lou.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yeah, go.
I too was a big guy. I did track and field, the field side, not the track part. But one thing I found in sports is like usually when there's like the slower people and like everyone else finishes, they like cheer for you, like and try to push you on at the end. What are your thoughts about that? If that ever happened to you?
It's a hard, because if you know the person, then that's one thing, right? And if you know that they want to try their best, then cheering I think is perfectly fine. But if you don't know the guy, or if the or person, if you don't know the person, and the person, or if you do know the person and you know that they don't want to be running right now, then no, just let them do their thing.
I
Let
hated
them-
it. Yeah.
Let them finish. Right, like if I knew you and you were like, "I don't want to do this," or if I knew that you were a little introverted, no, I wouldn't be cheering for you because you don't want any attention coming
Yeah,
to you.
I know mentally I thought they were doing it out of the goodness of their heart, but I'm just like, stop patronizing me. Like, just let me finish this.
Right.
Go along. I'll finish this by myself.
Yeah, but if you were like training and you were running for a long time and you wanted, like you wanted to be part of the race,
Mm-hmm.
then maybe a couple claps or maybe a thumbs up. I definitely wouldn't be, getting the whole crew to be, or maybe just a good job afterwards.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of ways to support somebody without causing attention to them.
I too
Yeah.
hated the fun run.
Yeah,
That's what they called it.
I finished the mile. Everybody,
Or
even
the
after
tour.
even after the class ended, I still was running the mile, and I still had to finish. And so it was just me, and it was just me and the gym teacher.
And the
in
gym teacher was like, "Yeah, you can do it."
No, I remember the gym
5
teacher
yards.
just, like, sitting
5
there
yards.
staring at me.
Take off your blindfold, Lou. You ran the mile.
Yeah. So avoiding not getting bullied, that's my 5.
Right now, I feel like your list is a lot deeper than mine.
No, it gets real shallow really quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
There's only one more that's like semi thoughtful.
I can sympathize, empathize. I went through that when I went to public school I went for until 3rd grade. I was in public school, and yeah, I got bullied on the playground a few times. Once you go to private school, it's like super small, and so I feel like they can't get away with it. So it's just more emotional bullying, if anything. But I think that's kind of how it is when you grow up. Like, I mean, obviously you don't see people getting beat up, but people like emotionally will bully other people. That's a whole other discussion.
My bread and butter, man. Nope. Okay, it's fine. I thought it was funny.
Well, my number 5, to completely turn the corner here, really this would have been my 8th grade year, so tail end of middle school, but this is when it really started to take off in my life, but that was social media.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I opened up my Facebook in October of 2008, according to Facebook, which was still pretty early on. I was one of the few people in my class that had a Facebook, so obviously I was, just friending all the like camp counselors and things like that, and they're probably like, why is this 8th grader sending us things on Facebook? But they were a lot more personable than I was when I was a camp counselor, and my camper sent me friend requests and they accepted them. I'd leave them in the friend request so then they can't see if that's a whole other thing. Started out with Facebook, then I got a MySpace, and I was trying to be super edgy on MySpace. So one thing I liked about MySpace is it was super customizable. So I'd make it all black and have like skulls and everything, and just play what I thought was metal music at the time. Like, yeah, I'm so edgy. One of my favorite things to do was those dumb quizzes. I don't know if you guys remember those back in the days, but they're like all the rage.
Yeah.
When I got home, I would sign on to AOL Instant Messenger, better known as AIM, and I thought I was the bee's knees. I had to beg my mom to let me get on this Instant Messenger because she thought someone's gonna, try to kidnap me and do evil things to me. But I'm like, Mom, I just want to talk with Beezy. Is that such a big thing? And that's what started my lifelong addiction of probably smartphones and everything. So here we are. It all started in middle school.
Hold on, let me get on my grandpa voice. What is Beezy?
The Brian that ends with a Z.
Oh,
Beezy?
Yeah, good dude.
Just doing that so I didn't have to bleep his name out.
Yeah, I didn't know that was his name. His nickname.
I feel like it was around camp I heard him called BZ. Back when he looked like the guy from Hannah Montana.
Dude, yeah, he was one of the few people who might have had longer hair than me.
It's crazy that you got a Facebook and then a MySpace, because MySpace came out before Facebook.
It did.
I'm glad you said that, because I thought that and then I forgot about it entirely.
Yeah. Well, it was like, because I'm guessing my mom would have also been probably anti-MySpace, because, there's back when social media was in its infancy thing, there's like, oh, they're going to kidnap your children and blah, 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 blah. But as long as you're not dumb, and that was a very rare case. And so I got Facebook first, and then probably once I got my laptop, I just got MySpace and customized it and everything like that.
Do you guys remember, like, the first time, like, talking to a stranger on the internet?
Yes, but that's coming up later. It was
Oh, okay.
something for me, so.
Oh.
Gotcha.
Oh.
So, it wasn't quite a stranger, but he was someone I barely knew. I didn't really talk to anyone that I didn't know on Facebook, even when I got a Facebook.
Oh, it wasn't on Facebook for me, yeah.
Well, I was just, like, my parents were, like, they were hardcore about it. They're like, you are not getting even a Facebook until you are as old as, like, the policy says you have to be. So I think I had to be, like, I don't remember if it was 13 or 15, but I was, like, fuming at how long it took me to get a Facebook. Everyone had such a head start. But people would friend request and people would message me thinking I was my dad, who, if anyone doesn't know, is a pastor, shares the same name as me, and didn't have a Facebook until, like, 2020. And so there was one day I'm just like hanging out on the computer. I'm watching YouTube videos. I got Facebook on another window. I hear the little messenger, and it's this guy who I barely know, may as well have been a stranger. Mike, you gotta help me. My marriage is falling apart. I think my wife is cheating on me. And I'm pretty sure she turned out to be cheating on him. And I was just like, I think you're looking for my father. Let's never speak of this again. And I swear to you, I have ran into that guy in the wild as an adult more than any other human on the planet. Probably combined. Like, all the times I've ran into somebody I know do not add up to the number of times I've just ran into this guy out and about. My father also performed his second marriage, and so him and his new bride came over to our house once a week for like 6 weeks. And that was awful. I just hid in my room.
Lou, when did you start your Facebook stalking career?
So, I didn't fall in love with stalking until, I think, the pandemic. I didn't really get into I was pretty bored. You just get into, like, a rhythm, man, and you'd be surprised at people that put, the stuff that people put online.
It's true.
It's pretty wild. A lot of love for certain regions and all that jazz. But I didn't start my MySpace until 2008. But I didn't have a email, and so I put my mom's email in, and she was like, why do I have so many middle schoolers in my effing email right now?
Yeah, that's crazy, Mom. I don't know.
She's like, if you want a MySpace, you can have a MySpace, but make your own email, you idiot. But I think the first time I ever talked to a random stranger is when I was really into playing checkers on the AOL website?
Trying to remember because I remember there's like some game like program you can get where it also had instant messenger, and I would talk to random people there, and I think they had checkers and like and pool and all that. So
Yeah,
could not
yeah,
remember
stuff
the
like
name
that.
though.
And I had a checker buddy, and we would just play checkers together. And I have no idea who that person was, but I played a game of checkers, and I think I beat him, and then them, and I started a new game, and it was the same person, and I was like, hey. We just got done playing. I just like typing it in, and they were like, "Yeah, you want to play again?" And it's just that secret. I don't know. It just felt weird, but good at the same time. You guys, that little giddiness.
Yeah,
I got a little giddy.
Talking to someone.
I was like, "Oh,
my parents don't
I have
want
a
me
checker
to.
No, I
buddy."
get that. I guess one thing I completely forgot about and didn't think of till this story is when you'd like run into the same person on RuneScape a couple times in a row, and then like you just add them as a friend and hope that your mom didn't figure out that you had a friends list on RuneScape because she was relentless. I clearly have some things to unpack, but
This is our therapy session, our weekly therapy session. Yeah, but I think I'm starting to get old. For some reason, I don't know why, but I've started to use Facebook more again. For a while there, it was dead. Started clicking on it. I'm like, I just need to go back to Reddit. Oh my gosh. People,
I don't know if that's that much better.
Yeah, so
at least I don't know the people on Reddit that say stupid stuff.
That's fair. It blows my mind that there's still people saying stupid stuff on social media, considering the climate of the internet in general. I'd expect social media to be the most sterile, bland place on the planet, and there's still people being stupid.
I don't know.
That's fair. Oh, I do have one more story.
Oh, go for
So
it.
it was around Valentine's Day. I don't know about you guys. When I first got Facebook, I added everybody, even people like of my friends' friends. So people I didn't even know.
It's like you have one mutual friend, you're like, yeah, heck yeah, Adam.
Yeah, we're gonna be buddies. And so I had random people that I didn't even know. I'm on my friends list or on my Facebook, and there was I don't even know, but there was like a program where it was around Valentine's Day, and there was a program where you could send your Valentine like a Valentine's Day like card, and you can send it to them. What was that jingle for?
Just got transported
Should
back,
I stay or should
Oh,
I go?
shoot. I forgot about that. That's hilarious. Yeah, wow, look at me. Being just a little thought.
Well, good thing you're thirsty adjacent now.
There we go. Thursday.
That thumbnail. That's so good.
But the Valentine's Day card got sent to everybody.
Oh, gosh.
It's
Well,
literally every single person on my friends list it got sent to.
Was it like personalized?
No, it wasn't
Okay.
personalized. It wasn't
Oh, then you can totally get away with that.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember then going on some random person's wall and being like, why does this person want to be my Valentine? And I remember being so embarrassed. And I had to like delete her off my friends list, just like erase the memory out of my mind. What a time.
The time to be alive. The Wild West of social media. Mike, what's your number 5?
My number 5. Oh gosh, let me make sure I got this right. Video game. Sorry, I didn't write it down. I just had it all in my head. So for me, the video game that makes a lot of sense. My goodness, that is so loud in my headphones.
So, wait. Lou, did you put
Not your
video
fault.
games as well, or do you have specific video games?
I just put video games.
Okay, I'll let you guys
I,
talk.
I,
I had some
yeah.
specific ones, so I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, I suspect we might run into some of those here. Pokemon was kind of the game
Nope.
of elementary school for me.
Well, this is middle school.
I'm aware. And as peer pressure kind of started kicking in, there were certain friends who I won't name because I said I wouldn't talk about Dylan on the podcast anymore, who would make fun of me for playing Pokemon. And so I kind of started playing it less.
yeah, bullied playing Pokemon. That's wild.
Yeah, it makes no sense to me in hindsight.
During
but
the craze of
there it was.
the height of Pokemania, too.
It might have been a smidge. I'm not positive, but I feel like we were on to Gen 3 by the time I got past the parental, there is evolution here firewall. So like I might have kind of caught the tail end, but I think there also might have been a little bit of just like, I think he was also wrapped up in the midst of a lot of peer pressure, and so he would essentially just end up kind of doing the exact same thing to other people that was done to him. So like I think he wanted to be playing Pokemon, but he got a bunch of crap for playing Pokemon, and so he kind of just paid it forward, which I mean, kind of annoying, but at the same time it's like, hey man, we were in middle school, we were all kind of dumb. I don't hold it against him. Once Pokemon faded away, we got into the much maligned GoldenEye and Madden. Not maligned, but at the time, that was back when Madden was good. And Ocarina of Time. Those were the games I played in middle school, and then Guitar Hero. It was kind of
I forgot
there were a
about Guitar
couple
Hero.
different and like those just they took over. They were an absolute obsession. There'd be games that I'd wake up and just like I would fall asleep thinking about playing them, and then I'd wake up and just be like, I cannot wait till I have video game time to go play these games. Like it was just all I cared about. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting because I feel like with certain friends I could do certain things, and with other friends I tried to stay away from them. I don't think I understood necessarily what peer pressure was, but I felt that like, oh, these guys don't think this is cool, so I won't do it or bring it up around them. But then these other guys do think this is cool, so I will bring it up around them, you know? So it was like different games remind me of different people as a result. Oh, I also had Melee as a kid.
Can you talk more about that? Like, what do you mean by that?
So I had some friends that were into games that I think their other friends at their public schools were into, right? So I had some friends who were like, the only good game is Tony Hawk Underground 2, and you're dumb if you don't want to play Ocarina of Time. That's not even two-player. Blech. And then I had friends that, in hindsight, were actually just nerds and rejects as well. And so they were like, yeah, man, let's play Zelda. That's awesome. And so that was really just kind of what it was. It was like, depending on how popular my friends were in a place that I never went and didn't understand, that would kind of affect what we did and what I was comfortable sharing with them, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Robert, do you want to talk about video games? You want me to? Talk about
I put specific video games on there, so I'm just gonna, and none of those were hit, so I'm gonna wait. I say,
Oh, sweet.
I love Guitar Hero, love Ocarina of Time, Madden,
Madden 04, man.
Yeah, Lou, I don't know if you
Killer
want to...
soundtrack and actually good gameplay. All I gotta say.
Lou, if you just had it as a broad category, you can go ahead and talk about it here. But like I said, I chose a couple specific ones to talk about, so I'm going to step back from this for my objection.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's crazy because Mike already said it, but when I was bullied so much, I had to fall into something, and I think video games was definitely one of them. In 2007 and 2008, I think was such a beautiful time for video games. The Wii, I think, came out in 2008, I want to believe.
I think 7. Late 7. Late 7. So.
Late 7.
I feel like the Wii came out in 2013 because that was the first time I was able to get my hands on one.
That was like the Wii
I
U.
just remember
You were almost at Wii U stage there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, it was so popular for a long time when it was coming out that I just gave up on ever getting a Wii. And so I think it became available, and I just didn't know, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. But what Mike said, what I thought was rang so true to me, is that started to become, my brain started becoming obsessed with it. And I would go to bed thinking about video games, and then waking up, peeing, and then going straight into video games, especially if it was a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday was the best.
Yeah. And I also would be try to wake up early to play video games before I even got to school.
Dang.
But the video game for me that started it all, and I've only played 4 and 5, but Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of Patriots, just was such a beautiful game for me, and I had no idea of anything about the storyline. I had no idea who Liquid Snake was. I had no idea who Solid Snake was. I didn't know any of it, but the gameplay was so good that I just had to finish it. It was insane. But I do also have a list of video games.
I'm very curious, have you gotten to go back and play some of the earlier Metal Gear games?
So I went back and I played 4, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so choppy. Because I just got done playing 5. And 5 had an absolutely terrible storyline. And it felt like it was such an unfinished game, and that's when Kojima was having such a beef with.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the
Konami?
Konami. And they not blueballed him, but they blackballed him so hard that he had to leave and make a walking simulator afterwards. No, so I've never, and I know that they came out with another edition of them.
Yeah, I picked them up when they came out. So if you wanted to get around to playing those, we could have a Metal Gear night.
That'd be dope. I wouldn't be. Yeah, I Donkey, whatever the hell his name is,
like you dunk,
had made a YouTube video about it.
You mean El Burro?
No, but hilarious.
He's Mexican, isn't he?
So good. I just, if you just tell me somebody's Mexican, I'm just gonna believe you.
My real dad's Mexican, right?
Who am I to say if you're not? I do have a list of video games, just in no special order, but these video games just meant so much to me. Metal Gear Solid 4, Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Ah, so good. I got to be you had to choose between being good or bad. Mario Kart Wii, Smash Bros. Brawl, Assassin's Creed was the first game I ever played on the PlayStation 3 that I spent my own money on.
It's my first rated M game.
Really? So good.
That I owned.
They were they were like, you want to get I did so much research. Did you guys ever get the Video Game Informer?
The Game Informer?
Magazine?
Yeah,
Oh,
from
I
GameStop.
wanted it, but I never got it.
Still got
Oh,
a
I
big
got
old
it.
collection.
Nice. Yeah, I wish I kept mine. I had a subscription, and that was beautiful. It was so good. And so you could get the bundle, and I can't even remember what the bundle was for the PlayStation 3 at the time. Or you could just buy a PlayStation and then just buy the games. And my dad was like, just buy the bundle. You'll get a better deal. And I was like, no, I will not buy this damn bundle because I don't want this damn game. I want to stab people. So good. Underrated The Simpsons video game. Wah.
Wait,
so good.
which one?
I was gonna say that. I knew that question was coming.
Oh no. I
Road Rage
just
or
only
Hit
know
and Run?
one. Oh no. I don't know. I'm so sorry.
There's a correct answer there.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
Probably the better one.
Well,
I think Road Rage.
could you get out of your car?
Yeah.
Okay, that's Hit and Run.
Okay. When did? Oh no, I might be wrong. When did that game come out?
I think they were around the same time, but yeah, one of them you could like get out and run outside your car. The other one you couldn't.
Yeah. Okay. No, Hit or Run came out in 2003. So I did my research bad. I'm sorry, guys. I did play that one though.
I mean, as long as you played it during middle school, doesn't matter when it came out.
That's true. Good
In my
point.
opinion.
God of War 2.
Oh, you were young for that game.
Oh.
There'd be titties there.
Oh boy. No rules. I had no rules as a kid. I'm so surprised that I'm living a decent life. Shout out to God. Yes.
Amen.
My parents did not know what rated M meant, but I remember watching rated R movies all the time. So
Yeah, the only reason I could get Assassin's Creed, there was an option to turn off the blood. I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'll turn off the blood. I didn't turn off the effing blood. Heck no. Also, there wasn't even that much blood.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you're stabbing people. You're not like ripping people apart. Yeah, I definitely had sex with a god at God of War.
Hold up.
And I liked it. I'm sorry.
God.
Lowercase G.
Look.
You know, yeah.
Uncharted, so good. One of my favorite series of all time. Wii Sports, that bowling, boy, that family time, so good.
Was bowled to 300. I was one away.
Did you?
I was like, I got one spare.
Bold
instead
at
of all
$2.99.
stuff. No, I don't think. I think it's like 2.9. I don't know how the math adds up. But I remember I got just
fair.
one spare in a frame instead of all strikes. But it wasn't that hard once you knew what to do.
Yeah, I'm assuming you were sitting. I'm assuming you didn't stand.
No, I stood.
It's all the look at the wrist. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I feel like I
you
disrespected.
still just flick the wrist when you're standing.
Go you and apologize. I wasn't really familiar with your game, and
Right.
You once you know where to go and the motion, easy.
Are you still talking about bowling or something
Hey,
else? Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. So good. And then Madden NFL 2008, which I believe
Ooh.
had the hit stick, but I think I'm lying. I think I'm wrong.
see, I was an NCAA for when it came to the football games in that era. Mike's laughing,
So,
but
yeah,
that's all.
like the highest praised football video game ever
Yeah.
is an NCAA game.
I think they're coming out with a new one, but they've been saying that for like 10 years.
They are, but it's just gonna be a copy of Madden, and Madden's not good.
Well, and let's be real, the only upcoming sports game that matters is Jason Kelsey legitimately trying to bring back backyard baseball.
Yeah, you just said that in a pod.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and
That's
then
all
he
he
doubled down on it, though. He said JJ Watt, like, reached out to him, and they're, like, actually going to try and do it. And I was like,
Cool.
those two men can make it happen. And a lifelong dream, well, not lifelong, but a adult lifelong dream of my own would then come true.
Let me tell you, going back and playing it, it's just let it be a nostalgia. It's not as good when I got the hardware to work on my computer. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, Humongous Entertainment is the one
Dude,
that...
they had so many bangers.
Putt Putt,
Freddy
Really?
Fish.
Pajama
Putt.
Sam. I don't know the fox name.
Yeah, I don't know his name either. Dude, my daughter is down with the Freddy Fish. Like, she'll come up to me all the time and be like, Dada, can I play the fish game on your tablet? Which means, can I play Freddy Fish on your Switch? Or can I play the car game? Which means Putt Putt.
Yeah, Putt Putt on Switch. Hold up.
Yeah, dude. But you can also go to the Humongous Entertainment website, and for $100, you can get every single non-backyard sports game. So it's like Pajama Sam, Freddy Fish, like all the point-and-click games. $100, you can get all of them. It's like it comes out to like $2 a title. It's crazy.
Do you think it's just because they had NFL players or professional sports players in their games that they don't own the rights to anymore? You think that's why they don't release any classic ones?
I don't think so, because I think the original Backyard Baseball was just kids. It was later that they started licensing.
Well, the very first Backyard Football had like Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice. I think it had Peyton Manning too. Yeah, I thought that was the first game, but
I'm pretty sure Backyard Baseball was the one that started it all. I could be wrong. I have not done any research on this, but honestly, that'd be a fun little research project to do. That's the weirdest part about being an adult for me, is that I get excited at the prospect of research projects now. I'm like, ooh, I could write an essay on that. That'd be a good time.
You are right. Backyard Baseball was the first one. Then it was soccer, then football.
Dude, soccer was my favorite. I found that behind a desk. My grandmother had a daycare. And so Granny's house was the place to be because she had all the toys and a couple of PCs downstairs with a bunch of kids' video games. I found Backyard Soccer when I was spending the night, and I was I was sleeping down on one of the couches down there because there was also a massive Disney VHS collection. I was like, oh, we'll try this out. I swear to you, before I knew what had happened, there were people showing up to drop their kids off for daycare, and I was still playing this game. That was the first time I ever stayed up all night playing a game. I was like 3 seasons deep.
Lou, did you have any other games you wanted to hit on? Sorry, we kind of just hijacked there.
No, it's cool. Yeah. I found out the hits that came out in 2005, which I thought was crazy. Video games was it for me. I mean, I was playing video games way before middle school, but I think my brain was developed enough to be able to play like big boy games. Do you guys remember that Switch?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's when it started to get real for me.
Did you ever go back to a game that was like, you remember being like crazy challenging and then just have to be like, this is kind of a joke?
I remember playing Pokemon Coliseum, and I remember it being such a big deal that I finished the tower. Do you guys remember when you had to play 100?
No, that one. People? That one. I've watched some retrospectives on it. Apparently, it's still hard, at least according to King K.
Yeah, that is. It's not just it's not a gimme.
If it was a breeze for you, then you're a master.
Oh, well, I remember beating it, and I remember.
You get your Celebi?
I couldn't even remember. Maybe, potentially. I did. All I remember is I remember beating it and then bringing every single family member into my room and showing them that I beat it, and then being like,
what I have done.
Yeah.
Witness.
I have
my
slayed.
Greatness.
But I haven't gone back to it. But that's something that I want to go back to.
Probably need an emulator for that one, since I don't know, the even just the game is going to be expensive. And I'm sure, do you even have a GameCube?
No, I don't have a GameCube.
Yeah, that's going to set you back then.
I got one you can borrow.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
as long as it doesn't just sit there collecting dust forever.
Probably will.
Recently just cleaned Robert's PlayStation 3, so
thank you for
I take care of my stuff.
So
I feathered it.
Just the game, it doesn't have the box or the manual, is $111.
Holy crap!
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Becca has it, doesn't she?
No, we have Gale of Darkness, and it's mine.
It's the second one, right?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
That one's
okay. Just check the shelf.
That one's $165, so got the better version.
Lou, I got a GameCube and Pokemon Coliseum.
That's where our copy was. Thief.
I was gonna say it's a very real chance it's Becca's copy that you forgot here. It's not like I've been using it; it's just been sitting on the shelf.
Hey, when we're coming back in April,
oh boy,
we're claiming what's ours.
Oh boy.
But no, if you want to play it, Lou, go for it. I'll get it in October.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's a big deal. I don't know if I should be just giving this gift of mine. I'm
gonna be honest with you. I think it's something that we remember being potentially better than it was.
Probably. Yeah, it was weird mechanics, but we could do a deep dive on that someday if we want.
Edgy. I like that.
Well, Lou, we're coming right back to you. What is your number 4?
My number 4 was football. And I think I kind of touched a little bit how much it meant to me back in the day because of bullying. But football just opened up such a... How do I start this? So I am a very body-sensitive person. And so I feel things in my body. And it's hard to explain this without sounding like a creep.
I believe in you.
Okay.
If I'm hearing you right, it sounds like you have sensitive nipple. That's called active listening.
New thumbnail.
Oh. Active.
Lou, I'm going to need a picture of you shirtless.
Ooh, that's never going to happen.
You can just cut the nipples out of the shirt.
I would rather cut my pinky toe off than give you that.
Well, get the knife out.
I mean, I'm no joke. But yeah. Yeah. Football, so good. Football was important to me, and I've touched a little bit on it in the past. Oh, in my last one because of bullying and the confidence it gave. But as I got older, I noticed that I feel a lot of my feelings in my body. So when I'm stressed or nervous or excited, I I
Start
feel
taking
it.
its clothes off.
Yeah.
Gets down in the 3-point stance and is
Uh,
ready for Christian to hike the ball.
yeah. It's so football was such a big therapeutic release for me because I got to just punch people in the face without getting in trouble, and that was such so good for me. And then when I got good at it and I got praised for it, and I've never really got praised for anything. Like I was always a good student. When everybody always told me I was smart, I was like, whatever, you just need to do your work. You don't actually have to be smart.
Just gotta cheat off of someone.
You
Dude,
just gotta
for real
cheat.
though, I felt that so hard. I was always just like, no, man, you just do. If everybody else would just do the stupid homework, they could get moved up a grade and get pounded too. Is there any more coffee?
Hold up, what?
Iron Giant, baby.
Yeah.
You can't quote every line. You're not a real fan.
I
It was the
never heard the pounded part. That's what threw me for a loop.
Oh, it's so good. He gets espresso. I'm so sorry. We have completely derailed football. I promise I'll return it.
no. It's good.
Dean gives him espresso. He talks Dean into giving him espresso, and then it cuts to him. And it's like basically he's talking about how he's got moved up a grade, and now all the big mooses want to pound him because he thinks he's smarter than them, but he doesn't think he's smarter than them. He just does the stupid homework, and if they just did the stupid homework, they could get moved up a grade and get pounded too. Is there any more coffee? Because he just had espresso and he's like talking a million miles a minute.
What position do we think Hogarth would play? Wide receiver?
Free is it deep safety?
I don't know.
Free safety? Maybe wide receiver. Yeah,
He
whatever.
seems like an offensive guy to me.
Well, there's a couple of like you're not super heavy. You can play like secondary kind of roles
Quarterbacks are
as
kind of
well.
light.
Quarterback, yeah, that's true.
Lou, were you always on the line?
Yeah. Yep. I was always the big kid, always on the line.
Tackle?
They try to put me at. No, I started off at center.
Oh,
Were you
But-
guarding the blind side by chance?
No. No, I never wanted
April
to play
Fool's Day, it
left
doesn't count.
because I was adopted too. That's rough, dude. That's a rough.
I didn't even think
Yeah.
about that.
That's rough,
didn't
dude.
want to make it, but I'll let...
Run the dang ball. I could do references too. What was the question, Robert?
No, you're saying you started off playing center. The
Oh, yes,
your
I started off
quarterback would
playing
grab your
center.
nuts.
Yeah, have I told this story already?
No, but I also played center, so...
Yeah, so the quarterback grabbed my nuts, and my butt crack would just always show. I don't know why. And the quarterback complained to the coach and was like, "Hey, I gotta move you to guard, buddy. I can't have your butt crack in front of my quarterback." I was like, "Well, okay."
He's distracted to play. We got to move him. Quarterback keeps looking at his
don't-
crack.
I didn't know how to.
Quarterback, more like quarter crack.
So old. I've heard that one a million times.
Wait, is that a real joke already?
I think. I mean, I've heard it. I don't know.
I
Not
made
sure.
that joke because I was like, this is the worst imaginable joke. Nobody else would have like such low standards that they would actually say this out loud. And that's what made it funny to
Have
me.
you seen Facebook?
I haven't got there's one of the rare times where old man Michael doesn't make an appearance. Facebook is there to push my social media creativity things. That's it.
Did you ever go to... For
I
some
mean,
reason,
I mean, I'm good friends with all of you, and I care a lot.
did you ever get moved to tackle? For some reason, I thought you played tackle in college.
Dude, so I thought we were just only talking about middle school. So
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
just
I
a general
played-
question.
Oh, general question. Yeah, so I started off at center. Butt crack moved to guard, and then in high school I was right tackle, and then in college back to guard, and then my last year before I blew my knee out, they put me at tackle, which made no sense because I was not the biggest kid. I just wasn't the tallest, and usually the tallest person gets the guard. I mean, the tallest person gets tackles. But yeah, put to tackle, blew my knee out, and then there we go.
You ever play D-line?
Play D line, could not stand it.
Oh,
I'm not
I
an
love
aggressive
D-line.
person.
I love D-line.
I had no idea what I was doing. I could not figure out how to. It was like a, I don't know. It was like doing a test backwards. Does that make sense? Like it was like reading backwards.
I have to
Didn't-
point out that that's another blindside similarity.
I mean, hey,
I feel like
you're right,
I'm Michael, and I'm a compulsive asshole.
but you ain't lying.
I get like the whole like getting your anger out in the field. Before I played football, I was a pretty angry child, but after that, I kind of helped mellow me out. So
You went from angry to cynical.
yeah, it's a socially acceptable way to get your anger out on people.
It is, yeah. It's the only place that I've ever found out where you could just beat the crap out of somebody, unless you want to be a cop. But
Or hockey.
know
You
if
can
that's-
play hockey, you know.
That's true. Hockey, honestly, you get to do a little more in hockey sometimes.
I think it doesn't pile up. Like the worst damage you can do is when you get into a pile, and then nuts are just getting grabbed. Like people are
Like
grabbing
being on the
nuts.
line all over again.
That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I hated being center. It's originally for my high school football team, which never won a game, by the way. I think the closest we got was like maybe we lost by 20. That was the closest we ever got to winning. But
Well, Dylan blew his knee out, so you didn't really stand a chance after that.
yeah, our quarterback did blow his knee out in a preseason game, so rip that.
It was oh, jeez.
Yeah, he didn't play an actual game. So we had a guy that was playing center at the start. His nickname was Speed Bump because that's all he was. He was just a speed bump that like maybe he could trip the nose tackle coming at him, and the refs wouldn't see it and throw a penalty. So I got bumped to center, and man, I hated it. I was not good at snapping a shotgun either, but I guess I was the best we got. Yeah, I'm not a fan of center. Guard is where it's at for
Your head coach was our defensive coach,
yeah.
which I thought was absolutely insane.
Did he go from being your defensive coordinator to Rob's head coach, or was it a demotion situation?
He got promoted. He was our head coach, and also he was the throwing coach. So he was two of my coaches, and then I think he was a college coach or high school coach.
High school coach.
I guess what year was he here? Because that was my freshman and sophomore year. He was the head coach.
Yeah, so junior and senior was my.
So I guess it was a demotion.
I think it was a demotion. Yeah, and
Some guys are just meant to be a coordinator, not a head coach.
True.
Yeah. And what a crazy culture switch for him.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he was glad to have more than 13 people on the team, though.
We had like 18. He didn't have them.
Hey, that's still more. That's still more than 13. I remember Ben, who we've talked about in the podcast before, came in. I think he played wide receiver. He came in like halfway through the season because he transferred to our school. And then someone got injured. So we're like, we thought we had 14 people, but then nope. Someone got injured and it was just down to 13.
Basically, almost everybody was playing both sides of the ball.
Yep, Speed Bump will get subbed out every now and again.
Woo-wee.
Speed Bump. That's a terrible name.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, that was a form of bullying, so probably forgive me. If you're out there, Speed Bump, I'm sorry. I will stop.
So
You're kind of sorry.
So bad.
I feel bad, Lou. I feel like we're just hijacking your topics.
No, I mean, I just bring out good topics and it just turns you guys on.
Good one.
What can I say?
You turn us on, Lou. What can we say?
What can you say?
You're
Flip it.
thirsty adjacent, and you're next to us, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh.
My water flows be like water. I don't know. Jet Li joke. Bruce Lee joke. I got my ages mixed up.
Doesn't count as April Fool's Day.
It's good to know my number 4 is not in Michael's list, but I'm sure he already talked about it earlier, but my number 4 was RuneScape. So if you don't know what RuneScape is, I think it started in the mid 2000s, or sorry, the early 2000s, like 2001, 2002, but it really hit its stride about 2006, 2007. It was just so much fun. It's an MMO RPG, so massively multiplayer online role-playing game. And the best thing about it, especially for the time, was it was free. So for someone
Oh, yeah, it was.
who had no income besides birthday and Christmas money, I couldn't afford to play WoW, and my computer at the time could not handle WoW. RuneScape was based in whatever browser you're using, so any computer could run it. And
I think you just needed Java, right?
Yeah, and most computers came with that installed because that was a very popular at the time. Java was a coding name. And I remember I'd get home for never on the weekend, turn on the computer, get the dial-up going so you hear that whole thing. You go out questing, someone calls your mom, picks up the phone, and you're just like, Mom, I'm trying to get some freaking adamant armor here and everything. And yeah, it was a great time. And
oh my gosh, I forgot about adamant. That was the green one, right?
Yeah, that was the green one. And you know that it was 2007 was the peak RuneScape time because now they have the modern day RuneScape, but they also have this thing called old school RuneScape, which goes back to the 2007 build. And I think it has more concurrent players in old school RuneScape than the current one. So that should tell you. But yeah, I would love just hanging out, and we call it Lumbee. It was Lumbridge, the starting area once you got past Tutorial Island. There would just be hordes of people there, and that's, where I talk to strangers online. So that's why I was going to wait to talk about it, because man, you would just meet so many people, add someone. It was so great. It taught me the basics of free market with trading, and they had the Grand Exchange, which you can go and basically put your items in and it would sell for you. It's like a stock market. And you learn things. You learn how not to get scammed because, people are always trying to scam you. One of the most basic ones, like, oh, did you know if you type your password in the chat, it'll asterisk out your password? It did not. So I know a lot of people fell for that scam, and then they'd lose everything in their account. It was just a great time. It's a very grindy game, but the world was just something I got lost in. I had friends that played it. I was all about it back in the day. Last thing I have to say is buying GF.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I know we said we wouldn't talk about girls, but 100% of the time I was trying the flirt with some of the dudes that were just trolling by choosing a female avatar. Yeah, that was just trying to get me trolling impressionable kids like me. But yeah, it was
But your
fun
fishing
time.
level wasn't high enough to catch catfish?
No, it was not.
What a stupid joke, but very well built though.
It was.
That's pretty much my whole shtick, is really well crafted bad jokes.
Bless you, Luna. If you guys probably heard on my end on the pod, I don't think it
did
showed up on
not.
Discord, but well, because my mic picks up a little more. But my dog sneezed, so when you listen back on the pod, you'll hear it. But it was not I. Mike, what was your go-to build? What was your go-to combat method in RuneScape? Are you mage? Sword and shield?
I was all
Two-handed.
over the place. I didn't like two-handed. I definitely did a lot of wizardry and would actually like do the whole rune grinding thing.
Oh, you would do rune crafting? Dang. Hardcore.
I was a very well-rounded player, but it wasn't because I was intentionally doing everything. It was that I'd get really into one thing and just do that for a while. So I had a decent archery. That was definitely my least. And then whenever I did combat, I always made it like perfectly balanced. So I just kept like switching, so all my combat stats were even. And then I had a decent little wizard score for a while too. So I think the highest I ever got was to. I'm pretty sure I got up to adamant armor. And yeah, I think the rune crafting you started to need the paid version because there was like it was free and there was a lot of content, but there was way more once you actually paid for it. So like I never got dragon armor or anything because it was like I ain't paying for this.
Yeah, dragon armor was something you couldn't get for unless you remember, but rune was the top. But yeah, rune crafting, like all the worst spots were free to play, so it just took forever if you wanted to grind up that way, and there's definitely not enough options. Lou, have you ever heard of, or played RuneScape?
No, so I feel a little left out. So I think maybe we were talking about RuneScape on the pod, or maybe not. I can't remember. But I recently downloaded it, and I was so confused on what to do that I just like stopped playing it.
Did you
It's
download?
definitely a game that's more fun with like people to kind
Yeah.
of walk you through the beginning.
Did you download old school RuneScape or was it RuneScape 3?
I honestly don't remember. I can look at it.
How were the
currently.
graphics? Because if it was like
Graphics were pretty whack, and so I think I
okay,
did.
so it's old
I
school.
think I
Yeah,
did it right.
yeah, because it's like a little better than N64 graphics, but not quite to GameCube. It was it definitely it almost has like a timeless nostalgia thing now, where like if you grew up with it, you're like, oh man, that's good, like classic graphics, and it fits the humor of the game very pretty well. So I'd recommend it. I want to take this time to plug our Discord. Check the show notes below, or if you're on YouTube, check the description. We have a Discord that we just made public. Come and hang out with us, talk video games. We have an anime channel for Lou. I don't know if he knows that there's that, but I added him in it. We got sports for if you're sportsman Andrew or Mike, and we got a bunch of things. But yeah, come. We can talk video games, hang out with us, and maybe we'll get some old school RuneScape going. If not, then I'm sure Mike would love to play Minecraft with you guys.
I would.
Yeah, I have the old school RuneScape. I played 13 minutes of it. So
Not quite. We'll get Lou on there. We'll get him on the grind.
I don't know. I'm a big Stardew Valley right now.
Well, there is a farming skill, but it's membered.
Oh,
It's membered though, so you'd have to pay like I don't even, it's probably what, $10 a month now, Mike? What do you? I don't know.
I don't even remember what it was then, but I do feel like it probably wasn't actually that expensive.
It was $5 a month, but again, when you only have birthday and Christmas money, that's
Right.
too much for my
it's
blood.
like scary.
And my birthday is in December, so it was just one big lump sum. By June, I had nothing. Who are we kidding? By February, I had nothing.
January, I had.
Who are we kidding? By January 3rd, I had nothing. Who are we kidding? By December 27th. It's
What's Dave Ramsey? Did you guys ever have to do the Dave Ramsey stuff?
My mom listened to him, and then she took me to like his seminar thing in high school.
He's getting raked recently by like a bunch of people.
Ooh,
'Cause
interesting.
he's talking a lot of junk about how millennials are not saving their money anymore and buying like $10 coffees and all that jazz.
It's not just millennials. There's plenty of boomers that do it, plenty of Gen Zs. I'm just always targeting us millennials, you know what I'm saying?
Well, actually, I think we're slowly moving into the part of the cycle where Gen Zs are starting to take the majority of the brunt because you can roll it. You can like, I could read you an article, basically kids these daysing millennials, and you'd be like, yeah, and then I'd be like, gotcha, that was about boomers or like any other generation, because we've been doing this cycle for decades and decades and decades.
I don't know.
So like,
I feel like even growing up as a kid, millennials were getting like a stagnant, and I've heard from like Gen Xers like, yeah, like we just push all of our stuff on millennials.
yeah, they do, but it's just like it's a trend, and
Yeah,
like I
it's a
just
cycle.
think that there's yeah, and I think that there's a big chunk of everybody that is just kind of oblivious to the trends of history a little bit right now, and so it feels like, oh, this is this thing that's happening for the first time. It's like, no, it's not. We just don't know about all the times it's happened over and over and over beforehand.
Well, I will say this millennials and Gen Zers are the first ones that have like full internet access readily available.
That's
so
true.
that is at least new, something that like generations before didn't understand. So maybe that's where some of the hate comes from it. But I think that does make older generations more
That's true,
complaining, more willing to complain because they don't understand a lot of this stuff.
Yes and no, but we also didn't have to deal with people complaining about how these newfangled radios were going to rot our brains. Like, it's
Still
just
heard
a
it.
new
No, I
form.
heard it with me. Same with music, you know.
But no, like music was the thing, but like literally, like the radio got like something we think of as like so low tech, it's kind of funny. At one point, was literally getting raked over the coals the same way the internet did. Now, I do think it's safe to say that the internet is probably worse for your brain than the radio.
100%. What's your number 4, Mike?
My number 4 was sports. Not necessarily watching sports, but just backyard sports with the boys. We played hockey with trash cans knocked over in the street. We played football anywhere we could. Played a lot of basketball, a little bit of baseball. There was a point in middle school where, so there was me and there was my friend Joe down the street. And then there was my friend Dave a couple blocks over. And interestingly enough, I was homeschooled and Joe went to private school and Dave was public schooled. It's a trend that I seem to fall into. And we ended up meeting a bunch of other kids who went to Dave's school, which was when I learned that Dave was not cool because he kind of got picked on by a lot of the other kids in the neighborhood. But we were able to get a pickup football game going with like 5 to a side. And I just lived for that. I was fast, which a lot of the time meant you didn't have to be super talented at other things, or you didn't even have to be strong in football. It was like, I can just catch the ball and nobody can catch me. There was one kid who was faster than me, and I hated his guts. I don't remember his name, but it was literally just like, ugh, this kid's faster than me. It's the one thing I have, and I can't stand that I'm not the best at it. Middle school, man. But yeah, it was just like, it was something that you could get out and have fun doing and burn hours and hours and hours with, and nobody ever gave you a hard time for playing sports. It's just something that grandparents and parents and other kids, they're all just kind of cool with, you know? So it definitely isn't to the extreme of Lucian's situation, but it was something where I was like, hey, this is something I can do, and I have fun, and I'm good at it, and people accept me, and yeah. You know, and then I enjoyed watching football. That was something, you know, watching football with my dad or, you know, playing Madden, just the whole thing. It was a lot of fun. But I think we might have kind of pretty much exhausted everything. We've squeezed all the water from this stone at this point.
Did you play any organized sports, or was it just like backyard sports?
I was on the turquoise team in soccer for many years. Did not particularly like it.
It's just
And then one year
boring sport.
I was on the green team. The green team was way better than the turquoise team, but they were way more they were way closer to a pro level of organizing your positions than the turquoise team. The turquoise team was much more dumbed down for us to be able to understand, and I got so used to our system that I hated playing on the green team, and that was the year I quit.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, in soccer, you would be on just a colored team in like a lot of kids' soccer
Whoa,
leagues.
whoa. Slow down.
Pause.
So it's April Fool's. It doesn't count. The turquoise was the color team I was on for a long time, and then one year I ended up on the green team, and I was like, this isn't fun.
And
We
green is
kicked
better?
Not inherently,
Isn't it
but
like
the
backfield?
coach was better, and the team overall was way better. I don't know if the coach was better, but the coach like made us play a more strategic style, and like we actually played with like more positions. It wasn't just kind of like offense, defense. It was like you're center field left, and I was like, this is too structured. I don't like it. It's not fun anymore.
Gotcha.
Also, we were so bad my first year on the turquoise team. I think we maybe won 1 or 2 games.
Hey, better than
And-
PCA football.
That's true. Everybody got a trophy at the end of the year, And like we got a trophy. Like it was like a little. I mean, it wasn't big, but it was a marble stand with like a fake gold cylinder, and then a big like it was plastic pressed to look like gold with like a soccer ball and a cleat and stuff pressed into it. And I remember thinking like, dude, we suck. We are the worst team in the league. Why are we getting a trophy? And like old man Michael was rearing his head so early, where I was like, what is this participation crap?
One more.
I didn't.
One more just ache at the older generation. Why do they give us crap for participating trophies when we didn't choose to have them? It's not like we said, hey, can we get... the parents gave it to us. Anyways.
I think that is a little bit of I think that's boomers complaining about millennials, even though that's really a Gen X thing. It's like, hey, it's not our fault. But at the same time, it's like,
strays.
Yeah.
I found out very quickly that soccer was not a sport I enjoyed. I think I did one summer camp of soccer, and I said, no, I'll stick to baseball.
Soccer did re-enter my life one summer later down the line, but we'll touch on that later.
Ooh. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Top Podcast. Because we believe the quality of this podcast is good and we don't want to cut it down, we're going to make this a two-parter. So if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Watching on Apple Podcasts or Apple Music, please give us a 5-star review and leave a comment and we can read off on the podcast. If you're looking for a community to hang out and just be a part of, also check out the show notes or description for our Discord. We'd love to hear from you and talk to you, especially if you're one of our international fans. We'd love to know how you found out about the podcast and just the differences in life, because that's always been interesting to me and I'm sure that's interesting to the other guys. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week and we'll catch you next time.